In the 1970s, statutory rape laws typically ignored male victims. It was believed that the male, even if he was younger, was often responsible for initiating any sexual activity. Now, laws have changed to define and protect minor victims, but these rules are still very different for men and women. Statutory rape refers to a legal adult engaging in sexual activity with someone under the age of consent. In the U.S., the age of consent varies from state to state. Here in California, the age of consent is 18. Most states, more than half, the age of consent is 16. Also, in most states, if an adult teacher has a relationship with a minor student, that action is grounds for firing. Here in California, it's also grounds for criminal charges because the primary purpose of the California statutory rape law is to stop teenage pregnancy.
The legislature determined that it's more likely for a female teenager to be impregnated by an adult male than by a teenage partner. So it's not a moral purpose behind the statute, it's a pragmatic one. In California, in large part to prevent teenage pregnancies. So when a male 17-year-old has an intimate relationship with a 25-year-old female teacher, obviously there's no risk for a teenage pregnancy. So the purpose of the California statutory rape law in preventing teenage pregnancies is not violated in that instance, and so it's arguably mitigating that in that case the gender of the perpetrator was a woman.
However, experts say the legislature is overlooking stereotypes and stigmas resulting from the adult female teacher to juvenile student relationship. Oftentimes, these situations lead to long-term damage for these teenage boys.
What we find is when it's adolescent male with a female employee, there still are people who have this sense of, wow, you got lucky, rather than how traumatizing it is. And it's being aware of how traumatizing it is that's really important, because we know that some of these males attempt suicide or end up hospitalized, while other people think, wow, you know, that hot teacher showed an interest in you and got involved with you.
Another sharp contrast with these cases has to do with prosecution and sentencing. Studies show 54% of males accused of statutory rape are sentenced to prison, while 44% of women convicted of the same crime end up behind bars. Of those convictions, the men serve sentences that are 34% longer. Overall, more statutory rape cases are actually being reported. That's because experts say there's more evidence to prove a crime has been committed, all thanks to technology.
It used to be that without DNA evidence or a confession or admission of the defendant, that would be a very hard case to prosecute, because by the nature of the charges, it's an intimate relationship it's hard to find evidence of. With the advent of social media, cell phone pictures, texts, these crimes are documented.
San Diego has a rape crisis hotline set up 24 hours a day. That number is 888-385-4657. Ginger Jeffries, KUSI News.